Okay, today Namsala will lead the practice. So, setting probable motivation, which consists of 3 parts, and the setting motivation that determines to what extent one receives a benefit out of this practice. So, for that, 3 things to remember: refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. For the refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas as so loving, caring, and embracing. And for the Bodhicitta field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, for the Bodhicitta field, visualize your 2 parents and all the family members, including children, and all other dear ministers you make living unassigned. And imagine that you're looking at them with so much love and affection, realizing that each one of them, they're suffering, all because of the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken a Buddha nature. How to do so is by cleansing the mind, by cleansing the Buddha nature of the mental developments. And the remedies to cleanse this is the wisdom of emptiness, supported by bodhicitta, which in turn rests on renunciation. So with this mind, with the sheer desire to generate the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, and the renunciation for the benefit of all sentient beings, let us engage in this practice by imagining that you are leading this practice and all sentient beings are joining us.
Please turn to page number 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all polluted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all polluted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all polluted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there's no ceasing. Independent origination, there is no ceasing nor rising, nor annihilation, nor brokenness, nor coming, nor going, nor separateness, and nor stillness. I prostrate to the constant Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freedom from creation. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas of the Buddha, rich to the knowledge of all the experiences and classification to complete peace. Rich to the knowledge of God, causing the world happy and gracious to achieve the ends of the world, and through the possession of a great trust of pure song and religion teaching. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism and adversity days, the teacher of Nalanda, protector of feelings and frustrations. The one who has eliminated the veil of conceptualization, the child with the divine body, the watches the crown, who with illumination shines forth the pure noble light rays, who view the Buddha and demonstrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind full of awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. This sense of dependent origination mantra. Om Ye Dharma Ye Guru Brahma Ye Tum Desha Tesham Tathagato Vyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Vedu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Vyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Vedu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Vyavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Meaning of the Nemo mantra. All phenomena arise and causes, just like the the cessation of causes is felt as not like a great sphere. Profound, peaceful, collaboration create, their light and non-opposites, such as the mental colors, and no one can fathom these species, and silence others right to the words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseen, transnational space. It is the object of revelation of self-realized wisdom, to you and mother of Buddha for 3 times a day. The full seals of Buddha's teaching. All composite things are impermanent, all predominant things are the nature of suffering, all phenomena nature of selflessness, transcendent sorrow to speech. The glories of Buddha, the glories of Dharma, likewise the glories of Sangha. The glories of source of everything wholesome, I go for a creation ground. By the songs of vibrant drum of Dharma, we liberate all beings of mysteries. As we teach you, divine beings and your teachings until the end of the aspect of Buddha's beings. The Buddha does not watch the activities of beings, nor does he devote their mysteries by his times. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. He is by teaching the truth of suchness that things are liberated. The golden hands that receive the Buddhas of all directions shine the light of Dharma for all who live in this region. Instructions of Bhajani from the Four Attachments. If you are attached to the society, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If you are grasping, you do not have the faith. Please turn to page number 15. Please to the Shakti Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one all beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened you, perfect knowledge and good conduct, the not confirm the world, the pragmatic human beings to be doing, teacher of gods and human beings, to you with the completely and fully awakened heart, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the God responsible, the severe rules to shepherd them, as the straight, make offerings and go for refuge. When the most being is the form of this earth, we face ourselves stripes and said, Master, bring in this world, to you who are right stand and straight. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, with motion like a golden mountain, faint and blazing with 3 words, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just free like you, with 3 words are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The secret and great compassion, the honor and the power of standard, the field of merited qualities of the last solution, to you to the private I prostrate. The purity that frees one from passion, the worship that frees one from the low realm, the one heart, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies that retreat. Those who are liberated will also show heart of liberation, the holy people glorified with their transitions, who are devoted to the world's existence, to feel presence as a straight. Do not commit any more virtuous actions, but only more virtuous actions. So free your mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. Self, individual aberration, claim of man, annihilation, a shock of two, or above, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, the condition is as such. To these merits, extending me attain the rank of all sleep, subdue the flow of all, and be delivered from full time solution, without by waves of aging sickness and death. Please turn to page number 29. the Heart Sutra, the perfection of wisdom sutra. And prostrate to the unreachable judge, thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on the Master Virtue's mountain in Mount Street, together with the great community of monks and the great community of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration and metaphysical phenomena of mind illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Ayurveda with the contemporary practice of profound purification, conditional wisdom, and beyond those five aggregates also empty of inherent nature. Then, to the bottom of the Buddha initiated to the essence to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Ayurveda, Ashram and child of the nature wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection in wisdom traits. He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Ayurveda said this to the record words that he was able to Share any self-creating struggles of nature wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this. Correctly and repeatedly beholding those five attributes also empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is small. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is also no other than emptiness. Namely, feeling, discrimination, composition of factors, and consciousness are empty. Sharing likewise all phenomena are empty. Without characteristics, unproduced, unceased, statements, not without state, not division, not filter. Sharing therefore in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition of factors, no consciousness, no mind, no fear, no notion, no time, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no phenomena. There is no eye, element of soul, nothing, including no mind, or element of connected consciousness. There is no ignorance, no extension of ignorance, including no aging and death, and no extension of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and power. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no moderate ideal. The suffering life to the perfection of wisdom, the mind without observation, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, we reach the end point of Nalanda. All the Buddhas who followed the 3 times also manifested completely awakened from the perfect, complete matter, the rise to the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the matter of perfection of wisdom, the matter of great knowledge, the unsurpassed knowledge, the matter of equal to the unequal, the matter that thoroughly satisfies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The matter of perfection of wisdom is declared. Prayatma Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasampati Bodhicittavivaraṇa. Sharing with the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, she trained in profound perfection wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from the concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Ayurveda. Process, self-belief, is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even at the time without struggles. The Buddha having thus pictured the very treasure of the teacher of the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Ayurveda, was surrounded in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, aspirants, and other knowledge, were overjoyed and happy reasons for the Buddha. Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasangate Bodhisattvaya 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 Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha. Now the teachings of the three Supreme Lords possess the power to show. May inner and outer entities be transformed. May they be disturbed, and may they be conscious, and may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from the problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be equal to the Dharma. May all viciousness and perfect happiness preserve this place now. Please turn to page number 35. 8 courses for training the mind. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, we surpasses even the wish for perfection, and I hold the mirror at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I feel myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and students and further emotions and afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avoid them. When I see beings of both present character, and those who express strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear for their rare to find, as the righteous approaches to observe treasure. And others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. And someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes, in the streets in his extremely hurtful ways, may I rise and still as a precious teacher. May I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I partly place on myself all thoughts and feelings of my lives. May all those being purified by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I recognize all things as solutions, to avoid thinking the release from bondage. Namasankapas, loving dedication to the first one. From my two collections, actions and reflections of the days that have amassed, a warring and for a period of time, and I become chiefly people love for all those whose minds are so highest by influence. Please turn to page number 40.
37.
Page 37, 7 in practice. Excerpt from the Cave of Christ and the extraordinary aspiration to practice my Simultaneous. I bow down to the beautiful elemental tree, you who dwell the lands of all humans, contemplating the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down, with the energy of aspiration of the Bodhicittavivaraṇa, with a sense of deep respect, and with many bodies of hands of joy, to all you who live in ancestral, I bow down, on every body of the particles, reaching the souls of Bodhisattvas, and I honor them as the spirit of all mankind, entirely filled with the lessons of spirit. The infinite oceans of grace for you, oceans of sound, from the vessels of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of these flowers. Beautiful flowers, beautiful gardens, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sparkling incense, I offer to you the roses. Wine joys and fragrant perfumes, scented of powder, heat, high, calm, and cream. All wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you victorious ones. May transcendent offerings be a lesson lost, from the compassion for all the others, the strength of creation and Bodhisattva, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, over and back touch anger and ignorance, all these I openly lay before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in their actions. A solitary rises here as declaring the Lord beyond all opportunities. You are the right hand of the world in direction, for the name is as well as the destination to safety. All you who are my guides, please turn to the green wheel of Dharma. Come together at ease with rest. You who have not stressed for Nirvana, please stay with us for the months on religious acceptance in the world. For the happenings of well-being of all the souls and samsara. Whatever strength may have been accumulated by making illustrations, offering, and others. Rejoicing in the justice with us, blessing of the Buddha's day and teach, I now dedicate all this to the full awakening of all beings. Please turn to page 40, short medal of peace. This ground, the anointed with both strength and flowers, the lonely mountains, all continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a world field and operate. May all sentient beings enjoy its pure heart. May I be blessed when my mind is directed towards the harm. May I be blessed when my mind practices the proper path. May I be blessed with the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed with the flaws that free of light and all the wisdom. Before the Dharmas I will be Shimanatma. I cannot be utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps and true existence. Please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as vicious and constant. Please bless me that my mind is overflows with the precious qualities that I cherish others more than myself. Please bless me to have my accurate experience of the wisdom and emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent relationships to their conditions. Please bless me that my mind is overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality, of bliss and care. Please turn to page 42, the foundation of all good qualities. By Lama Sankapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure will. Correct devotion to Him is the root of the path. I feel the same roots and applying great efforts. Please bless me to rely upon Him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this world is found only once, is greatly equal in the strength of the heart of my hand. Please bless me to generate a mind that unceasingly day and night takes sense. This life is asking God as a water bubble. Remember how completely blazing that comes. After the ashes, like a shadow follows the body, those of virtues and non-virtues come as follow. Having fallen different condition and use, please bless me always to be careful that I live in the sight of negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the total of suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss and liberation. Let practice purify mindfulness, reverence, and great worship shines. The rule of the teaching is keeping for the moksha. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the snares of samsara, so are all like-minded beings. Please bless me to see this, living in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my virtue needs. Even if I develop bodhicitta and I do not practice the free type of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. In my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vow of creative regeneration. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects, and thoroughly realize the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quality of bliss or mind stream, leading from a path of contemplating and special desire. Having become the vessel of attaining the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of fortune the supreme worship wakeful, and at that time the basis of condition seeking real waters inside my heart. As I have become firmly convinced of this, Please bless me to protect these vows and pledges to my life. May I realize the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana. By practicing with great energy and regarding the forces, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. May I be the Gurus who show them the path, who show them the path, and spiritual friends, who practice at home, and all minds. Please bless me to have my completely for after everything. We know our lives never separated from perfect gurus, who enjoy the magnificent dharma, completing the qualities of the stages in dance, and vividly attain the state of Vajradhara.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So next is generating the mind of consuming yoga. For this, 4 things to practice. What are they? 4 things to practice. What? 4 things to practice. Prinslove, Shamatha meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom emptiness. Then you take the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay. First, the shamatha practice. Shamatha practice to learn how to stop the reactivity of our mind. How not to react to the stimulus. For that matter, we require the shamatha practice. And what we learned yesterday is the physical exercise, breathing exercise, and the shamatha meditation. Okay, physical exercise, really. Okay, the Chola Rinzila and the Chola Dijanla was okay. Chola, make sure that you are seeing me. And Chola Rinzila, two of you, and where is Chola Sibela? Okay, Chola Sibela is expert, I know. Okay, good. Okay, first, the physical exercise. For that, hold the knees and your arms straight. Hold the two knees and arms straight and back upright. And then the right shoulder, bring it closer to your left, and keep the right arm straight. And the left shoulder, of course, you have to bend a little bit, but the right should be straight. Okay, 3 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And good. Now, left shoulder to the right knee. 1, 2, 3. Again, right shoulder, left knee. 1, 2, 3. Good. Left shoulder. 1, 2, 3. Good. Once more. Right shoulder 3 times. Left shoulder. Okay, good. Particularly for those of us with sedentary lifestyle, we keep sitting and then do work with computer and so forth. These people, for them, the backache is a quite an issue. So this practice will greatly help us. The next is the breathing exercise. Breathing exercise. 2 hands out and the 2 thumbs inside. Wrap with the other fingers upside down on your knees. And the 2 arms should be straight and backbone upright. Backbone upright. And okay, now pull through your knees, legs, ribs, and in the front. Okay, when you throw too forcefully. Because if you do this in 2-3 days time, you'll feel that there's going to be muscle pains. Then to the left side, like this. And the right fist should be under your left armpit, like this. And release the forefinger, and with the hand side of the forefinger, block your right nostril and breathe and take 3 deep breaths. Put it down, put in your left knee again. Breathe out as much as possible. Again, breathe in as much as possible. Good. Once more, pull through your knees, legs, ribs in the front, and to your right side. And let go of the first finger, block your left nostril 3 times. Good. Once more, pull through your knees, legs, ribs, and in the front, and put them on your knees. Breathe through both nostrils. Okay, let's do the one more set. Pull, pull, knees, legs, ribs in the front, then to your left side, and let go of the first finger, block the right nostril 3 times. Pull, knees, legs, ribs in the front to your right side, and block your left nostril. Okay, pull, breathe from both nostrils. Okay, good. Next 5 minutes of breathing meditation. 4 things to remember. What are 4 things, Garbhoji? Body posture, focal point, identifying the potential errors of meditation, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Very good. The 4 points to remember. The first, the body posture. Body posture is known as the 7-point body posture of Bodhicittavivaraṇa. Cross-legged, backbone upright, your head tilted forward a little bit, your eyes not closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down and ignore, and the tip of the tongue touching upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth, teeth and the lips in the nasal course. Breathe normally. Right hand on your left hand and the 2 thumbs joining, forming triangle. Place the 2 hands on your lap in a restful state. That is your body posture. Breathe normally. And while you keep your body upright, make sure that your body is flexible. It's not rigid. It's not. Okay. So this is body posture. Next is the focal point. What you should be meditating. So there are many objects meditation. What we're doing is something very simple yet very beneficial. Visualize tiny white dot between nose and upper lip, tiny white dot, and then multitasking. While you visualize the tiny dot, also try to count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1. Again, breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. We do it for. When you're on your own, you do it 21 cycles, which will take about like 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. And then for the in group is easier, so we can do like 5 minutes, which will have about 60 cycles to 80 cycles. So in some cases, it can be even 100 cycles, depending on the length of the breath. So this is your focal point. And number 3, it was number 3. You know? Identify the errors, identify potential errors is fine, whichever. Identify the errors of meditation, twofold: mental excitement and mental laxity. Mental laxity is the inactivity of the mind. Mind becomes extremely lax, and then you feel like sleeping, drowsy, sinking, lethargic, heavy. This is one extreme. Other extreme is overactivity of the mind. They both must be under control. So if any of these two things happen, no need to worry. Just go for number 4. Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. And the remedies twofold. What are they? What are the 2 remedies? introspection and mindfulness. Introspection, mindfulness, and the introspection job is to check your mind if what your mind is doing. Whether it's mind meditating, or it is in a relaxed state, or in an excited state. So that is the job of the introspection. Once the introspection senses that any of these two things happen, then apply the mindfulness. Job of the mindfulness is to bring the mind back to the intent of your meditation. Okay, ready? 5 minutes. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, now what we do is that we do the renunciation. So what we did as a shaman meditation, this is to build single-pointedness of our mind, or to stop the reactivity, involuntary reactivity of the mind. So next, in other words, to maintain the stability of the mind. So now, the next is the analytical meditation. Renunciation, Bodhicittavivaraṇa, they all fall under the category of the analytical meditation. So here, we're much actively involved in analysis. Okay, so here what we do is that we try our best to follow the instructions and as much as possible try to improve the experiences the best we can. But if nothing really happens, we at least try to follow the instructions and make your mind active. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Renunciation. The meaning of the renunciation is to renounce our miseries. And people have the feeling that renunciation is to renounce happiness, renounce good things. No, that's not the meaning. The meaning is to renounce our miseries. How do we renounce the miseries? To renounce the miseries, we need to renounce causes of miseries. The Buddha indicated, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All this phenomena arise from the causes. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavat. These causes are taught by the Tathagata. So we have to identify these causes and eradicate them. Desham Jayu Niruddha Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Swaha. The cessation of these causes is also taught by the Tathagata, taught by the great seer. The cessation, how to stop the cause of these miseries, so the miseries will be stopped, is also taught by the Tathagata. So over the last 4 days, we discussed in great length how the miseries are organized by the Kotana counts, afflictions, inward retention, finally self-prospering ignorance. And yesterday we discussed a little bit about what really constitutes self-prospering ignorance. So viewing things as objectively real, while the reality, the all exists by subjective imputation. Okay, so to renounce the miseries, we need to renounce miseries, and Buddha indicated that the root of the miseries is ignorance. And ignorance will identify, while there are so many levels of ignorance, will identify the four of them. Ignorance which misconceives impermanent phenomena as permanent, ignorance which misconceives miseries as happiness, ignorance which misconceives impure things as pure, and finally the ignorance which misconceives what is selfish nature as of self-worth. So to counter these four misconceptions, Buddha taught 4 seals, particularly the first 3 seals are the contracting, these 4 misconceptions, and the 4th one, transcendent soul's absolute peace, is not in state. So Buddha's mind affairs, all composite things impermanent. So let's make sure that we contemplate on these things as much as possible to follow the instructions, and later after the retreat, we should do this on our own without having to depend on somebody else guiding us. So this is also known as the guided meditation. And once in a while you may go back to the recordings of these teachings
and listen to them for the instruction. And the other time again, stay away from these recordings. Just try to see if you can do that on your own independently. Okay, so all composite things are impermanent. Composite things meaning things which come to being by the composition of the material parts like electrons, protons, neutrons, so forth, and which are composed of the temporal parts in time. For example, today I'm very happy. Today is nothing but made of 24 hours. First our mind is happy, second our mind is happy, so forth. Again, first our mind is happy, first our 1 hour for 1 hour I was so happy. 1 hour is nothing but made of the 30 minutes. The first minute mind, happiness, second minute mind is happy, and so forth. So we see that there are these divisions. These are the temporal parts. So anything which is composed of material parts or temporal parts is known as the composite phenomena. So anything which is a composite phenomena should necessarily be permanent in nature. And impermanence, there are two kinds. Okay, so the instructions are given, just try to follow instructions and see if you want to follow this. If you want to follow this is the transformation which takes place, and of course the actual transformation which is visibly to be seen is something that takes place only later on, after certain years. But of course, this is how we have to proceed. So, with this in mind, the impermanence is of two kinds: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence are those impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. For example, 2024, without having to do anything, the continuum terminated. Now, with the advancement of 2025, 2024 start. And our youth, once upon a time, so those of us who are in their 20s, once upon a time we were a teenager, and now that teenager age is gone. And for those of us who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, our youth is already gone. So this is the gross impermanence. And so important thing about gross impermanence. Just imagine, and today we see that there are so many young people who are so anxious about the career, struggling with the career, and very apprehensive what the career is going to be like. The parents also have so much of apprehension and concerns, worry about the child's career and so forth. And this is exactly what happened to that. This was exactly what happened to say 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Perhaps they were like maybe at the time of Buddha, I think whole world had about 200 million human beings. Today it's 8 billion human beings. So in those days, the parents had so much expectation on the children's career, and so children also have the expectations, worries, concerns, and being anxious. And where are they now? Now, whether the career expectations are met or not met, they're all gone, finished. So likewise, and it's not that they are unfortunate and we are fortunate, no, it's a matter of time. 200 years down the line in the future, not even a single human being out of the 8 human beings will be alive then. And that's for sure. And it's all, yes, there are some sane, some realized beings who have attained what is known as the state of deathlessness. It's only 1 out of billions of human beings. So the reality is that in 200 years' time, not even a single human being will be alive, who are alive today, but not then. So this is reality. And when their thoughts will go away, we need to contemplate on our own imbalance of our own death. This is so important. And it's for this reason that Buddha taught that all what is exhausted, your wealth and so forth, all what is accumulated will enter into exhaustion. And all what is gathered will come to disperse.
and all what gathers will disperse, and all what is born dies. This is reality. We need to think of that. And the beautiful days, so like this amazing 10-day retreat, where the facility is just amazing and the people are amazing, but it's also impermanent. While we're enjoying something, remember the impermanent nature of that. So this is so important. This will greatly cut down our unnecessary anxiety, stress, and the fear and so forth. And the other part of impermanence is the subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence is the momentariness involved with all the composite phenomena. So therefore, all impermanent phenomena has the momentariness, subtle impermanence as its characteristic. Or don't say that all phenomena are subtly impermanent. They are not subtly impermanent. They have subtly impermanent characteristic attribute. We have hands. We are not hands. Likewise, all impermanent phenomena have the subtle impermanence as its characteristic, but they are not for example, like the 2025 per se is not subtle impermanence. It has subtle impermanence. What is subtle impermanence? Transitoriness, momentariness involved with all the impermanent phenomena, including your body. So just imagine that today you plant a tree in memory of our being together here in Ngari Institute, organized jointly by the BodhiLeaf and Ngari Institute. And 10 years later, 2035, we come back. We see that this huge tree gone 10 feet tall, right in front of this gumba. And you may be amazed, 10 years ago it was not there. How come that this tree is here? And then Geshe Dorji will tell you that this is the tree that your group has planted 10 years ago. So just see that you are shocked because that you were seeing from 0 to the 10 feet tall tree, a sudden growth. This is what made you feel like shock. Actually, there's nothing to feel shock about, because this tree, every year it was growing 1 foot. It's not that for last 9 years, 11 months, it's been sleeping and suddenly, tomorrow comes 10 years, and then suddenly it shot up to this height. No, every year it was growing 1 foot. And then the first year, 1 foot tall, is not that the last 11 months it was sleeping and suddenly tomorrow comes 1 year and have to grow. No, that's not how it works. Every month it has been growing 1 inch. This is reality. And every day, every month is increasing size inch by inch, which means it's changing inch by inch. And the change that you see in 1 month is possible because the change that you see every day. Changes that you see in a day is because change that you see within hours. Every hour is changing. And change that you see, and if you look at the analog clock, the hour hand, if you keep looking at it, you don't see that our hand is moving. Of course it's moving, but we don't see that because our eyes are so gross and so limited. But the change that we see in 1 hour is possible because the change that we see on the minute by minute level, and the change that you see on the minute by minute level is because of the change that you see on the second level. And that level, second by second, the change is happening. Now is visible. Yes, this is how all the impermanent phenomena are changing, second by second. That is visible. Now the change that you see in 1 second is possible because the change that you see in a millisecond, which means 1 second split into 1,000 the parts. And now on that level is the change is so fast. So actually all composite phenomena, your body, your food, your mind, the house that you live in, your friends, your family members, all the composite phenomena, they are undergoing such a fast. They're changing so fast. this reality, and our eyes are senses so gross that they cannot see that. But in reality, they are changed so fast. If you contemplate like this, it's quite scary. Just imagine that you are thrown, you're on the train platform, and a stranger picks you up and throws you into a very fast moving express train. What do you feel? Very scary. Why? Because we don't know where this train is taking you. And who decides where the train is taking you? Of course, the train driver. If the train driver is your mother, your father, then for sure it'll take you to a picnic spot. But unfortunately, if the train driver is the terrorist or the train driver under the dictate of the terrorists, it only takes you to the slaughterhouse. In our case, who is this train driver? Our mind is a train driver. And our mind, unfortunately, this mind is under the dictate of the worst of the terrorist, worst of the contamination, which is self-grasping ignorance. So as long as you are under the sway of the worst of contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance, it only takes us to the miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as the second seal. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Contaminated meaning contaminated karmas or contaminated afflictions. And as long as we are under the sway of these two, only miseries will ensue. What kind of miseries? Suffering change, pervasive conditioned suffering. In fact, one moment of such a suffering is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, festivities, birthday celebrations, picnics, parties, and so forth. One moment of such a tragedy is good enough. Loss of near and dear ones. The moment you meet with such tragedy, all the past merriments, festivities, they are totally meaningless, hollow, shallow. It's totally deception. Yes, this is what we're going to feel. This is what is meant by all contaminated suffering nature. Yes, that's true. So when will these sufferings stop? When will these sufferings stop? Is the question. 2024, it stopped on its own. We don't have to do. Likewise, when will there be a time that our miseries will stop? Unfortunately, impermanence of we talked about the impermanence being of two kinds. Impermanence can also be classified into three kinds. Impermanent phenomena whose continuum invariably stops. 2024, your youth, the joys and happiness, and so forth. All these invariably stops. There's second class impermanent phenomena whose continuum never stops. For example, your mind never stops. Although it's impermanent, but it never stops. The self, the time, they never stop. There's a third class of impermanent phenomena which never stops until you put a concerted effort to stop them. For example, like miseries, the tears that we shed out of the miseries, the pains, they will never stop until we put effort. What kind of effort is required to stop these miseries? Yes, it is determined by the nature of the cause of the miseries. What's the cause of miseries? Ignorance is the root cause. How to get rid of this? By introducing the counter force. What is counter force? The wisdom. What is the wisdom? Wisdom is the discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. And what's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is nature, emptiness, selflessness. Okay, so since that we are not introducing emptiness at great length, for time we will do a very simple version. Okay, just think of yourself. What are you doing? I'm meditating. We're going to think about the emptiness of this yourself. I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay. Now, just see how this self, who you identify as I, appear. does this person appear like a dream subjectively that your mind imputes as a dream, or objectively so real from the object? Of course, objectively so real as object. Okay. But the Buddha indicated that everything is like a dream. And if the self does exist objectively, remember what Nagarjuna taught. How to evaluate that the self truly exists the way it appears to be real, or it does not exist the way it appears as illusion. How to evaluate that? That's if that can be evaluated based on Nagarjuna's teachings, who said, if the mirage were to be water, were not those close, but the mirage see water. With a similar tone of reasoning, if this self would exist objectively, why don't I see this object as I go close to this object? Okay, now yesterday we talked about the ultimate analysis, conventional analysis. With the conventional analysis, we see the self. But subjective self, closer by going closer, that mind which goes closer towards the self is known as ultimate analysis. Subjecting the self to ultimate analysis, we see just 6 elements. Element earth. First, you go inside, you see the very thin layer of the skin. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, the cartilages, the heart, the lungs, liver, pancreas, stomach, intestine, and all the solid parts to constitute element earth. And element earth is not to be seen as the intrinsically as one with the self. Okay. Element water, 4 liters of blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not about the intrinsic one with the self. Element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy of a body. Of course, that is not about the self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that is not identified as intrinsically as one with the self. Element of space, 99.99% of our body is vacuum, but I'm not a space, I'm not vacuum, I'm a solid person. If the space is, element of space is also not identified as the intrinsic one with the self. Now, and what is left? Element consciousness, your mind is left. So your mind does not have a gender. You're a male, you're a female. And the mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. And also that people can see you, people cannot see your mind. So therefore, from that point, we see that this mind as well, element of consciousness or element of mind, is also not identified as intrinsically as one with the self. Okay. Now you have come too close to the object and you see the 6 elements. Now tell me, what is this intrinsically objective existing self, which earlier appeared as so objectively clear? Now to my amazement, it is not identified as intrinsic one with any of these parts, any of these 6 elements. Okay, now it may exist different from these 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is left? Nothing is left. Okay, what do you decide now? The conclusion is that from the object, there's no way to be identified as a self, as in existing as intrinsically or as objectively. Stay in this experience for a while. Yes, what I'm seeing earlier was just like illusion that comes to my mind only to the ultimate conventional analysis, and the ultimate analysis is empty, it's not there. That the self doesn't exist in the eyes of ultimate analysis doesn't connote that self is non-existent. It's simply the the meaning that self doesn't exist ultimately, because the ultimate analysis, not conventional analysis. So in the eyes of ultimate analysis, where is the self? The self simply dissolves. Stay in this experience for a while. Wow, that's amazing. For some you, there may be a tinge of fear coming. For others, a tinge of a joy. For others, goosebumps. For others, cold waves can throw tickling sensation. Cold waves can flow through your body. If these indications happen, you are very meritorious. If not, don't worry. Study more, contemplate more, and it's worth it to spend more time studying systematically the correct information, and that too with complete form. Okay, that this practice is amazing. But what's the benefit of this practice? Yes, just as this is self and subjective ultimate analysis, it is just discovered to be illusion, nowhere to be found, nowhere to be found from the object. In a similar way, we see this that all the miseries, the sorrows, the disturbance, anxieties, stress, and so forth, when we subject them to the same analysis, subject ultimate analysis, we see that they likewise will disappear. And then your disturbance disappears, your sorrow disappears. Disappearance sorrow is where the peace restores, peace dawns in you. Amazing, but a profound peace they arises in the experience of this emptiness. Stillness experience for experience of the emptiness where all your sorrows are transcended. Stillness experience for a while. Okay, good. So they now generate very strong aspiration. May I forever experience this emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This is what the Buddha indicated as the transcendence of sorrow is absolute peace. And this aspiration that we've generated, may I experience this emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This aspiration is known as renunciation. Stay in this experience of renunciation for a while. Oh yes, slowly come out of this practice to switch to the Bodhicitta practice. Are you ready? For that, we need to the Bodhicitta practice is not that easy. It requires a lot of support and blessings from all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, because our mind has been always in the grip of anger, ego, self-grasping, self-centered attitude, attachment, aversion, so forth. So now the unconditional love of Bodhicitta is so precious. It's so precious. So therefore, we have never experienced such thing. As such, we require a great deal of support and blessings from all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Invoke all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the witness to a practicing of the Bodhicitta. Likewise, bring into visualization your two parents and all your dear sentient beings, including children, family members, and all dear sentient beings with you. All the trillions of creatures in the ocean, and all the trillions of creatures in the wilderness. Okay, and imagine that you are in this practice and all beings are joining us. And when you do this practice on your own, then the two methods should be included. Should be employed as the main methods to practice bodhicitta. And in group, usually I do the 4 immeasurables. So today we'll do the first 2 immeasurables. Immeasurable compassion. And some of us may feel that what we're doing does not really resonate. The practice of 4 immeasurables do not really resonate with my mind. It is so superficial. Yes, it's superficial. Therefore, we require training. It's like training the music, where initially, although you mimic your teachers as to which keys to press of the keyboards, no music comes out, only noise comes out. You keep practicing, and gradually beautiful music comes out. This is all because of the practice, constant practice. The Dhamma practice is no exception. If this follows the same trend or the nature. So with this mind, even though your mind may feel that what we're doing is so superficial, it doesn't matter. This you are very meritorious. So superficial means that you discover that your mind, how the mind behaves under the current situation, and we need to revolutionize this mind with respect to how it thinks. Ready? Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering? May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, like a mother after all these many years of raising children, and today the eldest daughter just aged 12, and the eldest son aged 11, two of them come to the mother, telling the mother, "Mom, please take rest, you have done everything for us." Just imagine how much we received maximum love and affection and from you. We are now grown up. We'll take care of our other siblings and we'll make sure that we also take care of you. Mom, please take rest. The mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. She was so happy and proud, and the tears come out of her eyes. This is exactly what happens on Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're so happy and proud of the courageous commitment that you made today. This, the pride and happiness the Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel, invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all the sentient beings. They may touch the lights and nectars with the bodies of beings yours, washes over all the miseries and the causes of miseries, primarily the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the demonstrated beings. You're intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths and with relief. Next, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness, and the causes of happiness primarily consisting of the most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness and the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta. May all my dear sentient beings have and be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars and soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the body speaks yours, instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness with you and all the sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all of the sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is unconditional love. Just abide in this unconditional love for a while, imagining that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings to the extent that each of the sentient beings feels themselves as so special in your eyes. With folded hands, we'll make a Bodhicitta commitment together and try as much to invoke this spirit. May I become Buddha for the benefit sentient beings. When it's may I become Buddha, it means may the Buddha energy inside, the hidden treasure within me inside, manifest fully for the benefit of one yourself and for all the demonstration beings. With folded hands. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. This is the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in the entire universe. And today you have generated this. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with a heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. But remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm not like a handful of sand. I am more like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. I have the Buddha energy within me. I have the hidden treasure within me. Activation which will make me Buddha. If this were the case, how come that since time immemorial till today, this hidden treasure is not unfolded? Yes, that's true. It's all because that I've been disillusioned by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude since time immemorial till today. Today, I'm disillusioned by that. That's why I thought that these were the best of my friends. And when I become empty, and when I burst and explode in anger, I see the anger is supporting me. My self-centered is so strong to support me. Now I realize that this is not real support. This is destruction of me. I'm going to do everything to exterminate, to destroy these two. What am I going to do? I'm going to apply a very strong remedy. What is the remedy? The most powerful remedy, which is the Mayana Arya's the wisdom which directly realizes the emptiness. Okay, what is that like? Okay, let's quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which we meditated as the third of the four seals. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does the person who you identify as I appear to you? Like a dream that you is subjectively being imputed by your mind, or so solidly objectively there? Of course, so objectively there. Okay, remember what Nagarjuna said. If the mirage were the water, were not those close, but the mirage see water. Likewise, if this person who identifies I would exist objectively the way it appears to me, why not I see this person and so go close to this object? Okay, now let us go close to the object, which is technically known as subjecting this person to ultimate analysis. Subject person ultimate analysis, we end up seeing 6 elements: element earth, fire, water, air, space, and consciousness. Now tell me, in the eyes of ultimate analysis, objectively, where is this self to be identified among the 6 elements? None. If none, if you still believe that self exists as intrinsic real or subject real, remove the 6 elements to see if the self exists intrinsic different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what happens? Nothing is left. Nothing is left. Okay, now tell me, where is this self, which earlier you saw as object real? No way to be seen. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly thin, spotlessly clean, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of the heart. Okay, now you have the moon and the Vajra. Moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta. The Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta. This is known as the blaze of the non-dual bodhicitta. Two bodhicittas in synchrony, in in unison. This is known as the blaze of the non-dual bodhicitta. parents. I'm very fortunate. Yes, but don't miss to remember. Remember your two parents, all the family members, all sentient beings. They are suffering terribly. Yes, generate very strong compassion to us all. And this compassion invokes the wisdom moon into your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set of the wisdom moon at the heart of your mother, one set at the heart of your father, one set with each one of your children, one set each one of your family members, one with each of the beings here in Ngari Institute, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddesses, spirits. Likewise, each of the beings here in Ladakh, in India, in your own country, in the whole world. Just imagine all the trillions and trillions of creatures in the ocean, from the tiny amoeba to the biggest blue whales, and in the wilderness, from the tiniest of units, the worms, insects, to the biggest of the elephants. Now everyone got the share of the Vajra moon, which you so kindly, generously shared. Yes. Let's not forget. Now all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Why not we request all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be the witness and the guests to undertake the ceremony of engaging the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So as a gesture of making the request to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up along with all the other sentient beings to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, see if you can sit on your right knees. See if you can sit on your right knees. So this is whereas if you have knee problem, back problem, and don't be bothered to sit on the right knees. Sit in whichever position more comfortable. So those who have no issue, you can sit on the right knees. And given that it'll take few minutes. It'll take few minutes. This ceremony. So in between, if you start to feel the pain, then please sit down in the most comfortable position. Okay, let us turn to page. Okay, we have the handout. And my handout is gone. Thank you. Okay, make sure that you have the handout. Okay, here, Aruna. Okay, I'm going to quickly explain the first verse and the last 2 verses. The first verse, okay, this is, just imagine that this is a great opportunity for us to take the aspiration, engage in taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And imagine that your 2 parents are with you, and all your family members and children, and all the way, the manner which I indicated earlier. all the sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddesses, spirits, everyone is with you, living on a side. And no doubt, this place, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, will visit to Ladakh so many times. When he makes the visits, there's so much of, say, His Holiness of freedom closeness to the Ladakh. This is a reality. And so this great blessed, and of course that Geshe Dorji and all his students were involved in bringing this beautiful center up. So they have no doubt informed this to His Holiness that this center is under instruction, this is what is happening, and His Holiness no doubt blessed this. So we are in this place where this is greatly blessed by His Holiness and the Russian and Ladakhi, His Eminence, Deputy Russian and Ladakhi, also blessed this greatly. So with this in mind, we're going to take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow and imagine that you are a little girl, age 5, or a little boy, age 5, for the first time in your life, you are making a public appearance on behalf of your school. And imagine that day, your two parents, no matter whatever they have to do, they leave behind everything and come to be a part of the audience, waving the hands to you, telling you that we are here to give moral support. We are so proud of you, and you, as a little girl, little boy, is a very responsible child. You bring along with you all the other siblings. So this is exactly what's happening here. You are bringing along all the sentient beings, like your siblings, and the Bodhisattvas, like your parents. They are watching you as you requested to be the witness, and I guess they come to witness what you're doing today. So with this mind, we're reciting these verses and try best to invoke the experiences to the best we can, that our mind not get distracted. The first verse, let me quickly explain this. It says, I go for refuge to Triple Gem. This journey is the most important journey we can think of in this universe. And this journey, because that this is the journey which we have never undertaken before, it requires a tremendous guidance and blessings and support. And the greatest of support is the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Okay, the Anila, Chola Dejana, did you get this paper? Chola Dejana, did you get the paper? Yes, Chola Dejana and Chola Rinzil, you have the paper. Good. And Chola Sibilla. Yes. Okay. So the next is that this journey involves the road. And if the road is blocked by the boulders and fallen trees, again you cannot undertake the journey. So this road is none other than your own mind. Your mind is the road to enlightenment, and this road of the mind must not be obstructed by the mental negativities, negative karmas, and so forth. We have to play this as much as possible. So the best way by which to do that is by confessing the negativities individually. Second line says, I confess negativities individually. Now the road is very clear, but if the car does not have fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. The car is none other than your own mind, and this might require a lot of fuel of the merit accumulation, so that your journey towards enlightenment is going to be very effective. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. How to accumulate so much virtue within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others and yourself. Okay, now the road is clear and the car is enough fuel. What kind of a journey I'm going to undertake? I'm going to undertake the journey of the Buddhahood, the full awakening my hidden treasure inside. The fourth line says, I hold the blessed Buddha in my heart. Okay, let us wholeheartedly say this 3 times together. Imagine that you are leading this and all sentient beings are joining us. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. I generate the mind of bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others and myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests and shall engage in the delight and excellent practices of full enlightenment, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. I generate the mind of bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others and myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment, may I become Buddha by the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, Supreme Sangha. I generate the mind of bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests and shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment, may I become Buddha for all sentient beings. Okay, next two verses. I'm going to explain this very quickly. We invoke the blessings of Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be here to us. And the first verse, that who in the history of humanity succeeded in this journey, the journey of awakening one's hidden treasure? Yes, 2,500 years ago, there was a prince by the name Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded. How did he succeed? Likewise, all the Buddhas of the past, how did they succeed? They succeeded by, with the help of two factors that they created. What are the two factors? The first, they generated first factor, they generated very strong bodhicitta mind. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Meaning, may I awaken the hidden treasure within me for the benefit of all sentient beings. And the second factor, to materialize this aspiration of wanting to become Buddha, they actually engaged in the Bodhisattva practices such as 6 perfections and 4 perfections, making 10 perfections. If this is how they become Buddhas, how they succeeded in awakening the Buddha nature within, then I'll follow also seek the blessings of all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas, that I'll be able to follow the footsteps in order to create the two factors. The first factor, I will also generate very strong bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings, and then I engage in the bodhisattva practices to materialize this aspiration. So this is what we're going to wholeheartedly say these 3 times. And okay, if you do feel pain, please make sure that you sit down. Okay, we'll say this together wholeheartedly. And during the third repetition, the last 2 lines of the third repetition, feel the joy of having aspiration Bodhisattva. Feel that you've actually received the aspiration Bodhisattva. Anybody's entitled to take this, and it's not necessary that you should be Buddhist. Anybody can take this, the aspiration Bodhisattva. And there's no commitment assigned with this. If at all you want to as a memory of this, if at all you want to have some commitment, that is to make a commitment that from today onwards, I'll try my best to help others. If not, at least I'll not harm others. This much you can commit yourself to, and how to take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Okay, so with this mind, let's recite this together, wholeheartedly, 3 times together. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I do successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will and likewise shall I do successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received aspirations Bodhisattva vow. You're extremely meritorious, fortunate. Just imagine that your mother, after all these many years, she has been only receiving complaints from the school principal, and the and today the school principal comes, and again the mother is so apprehensive. What kind of complaints? The school principals, escorted by other teachers, said, no, we came here to congratulate you. What for? That your son, your daughter, two of them are appointed as the best students of the school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes in years. She was lost into incredible joy, of the tears of joy. This is exactly what happens to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. They are so happy to see that you have done amazing work to take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Believe it or not, since time immemorial till today, just the mother receiving complaints all the time. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, while they wish that you don't suffer through not engaged in negativities, we continue to engage in negativities and continue to suffer. While the Bodhisattvas, they wish they were engaged in virtues so that they can have the maximum happiness. On the contrary, we always run away from virtues, destroy virtues, and continue to remain deprived of the virtues. And today, what you did makes the Bodhisattvas so happy. It made their days. So they're so happy. This joy and happiness all Bodhisattvas feel invoke the Vajramoon at their hearts in the fulfilled form to multiply infinite number of times. And of Vajramoon, in all these replicas, innumerable, infinite number of the Vajramoon from the hearts of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they descend like rain shower. They descend to merge with the one that we visualize with the heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all Vajramoons, the replicas of Vajramoon from Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualizes the heart of your mother, at the heart of your father, at the heart of each one of family members, including children, at the heart of each of the sentient beings in the trillions of sentient beings in the water, in the oceans, in the wilderness, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. This is amazing. What you did today is truly amazing. That this is the best way by which to repay the kindness of your mother, repay the kindness of your father, repay the kindness of each of the sentient beings as your dear mother sentient beings of the past lives. Amazing. And this is the best of the offerings that we can make to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. The Buddha made it very clear that one moment of generating compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the aspirations Buddhism about today, this is the greatest offering that you can make to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Today you made it. It's amazing. And this is the greatest meaning of your life. And today you have given such a meaning to life. And all these wonders are happening because of the blessings of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, please let us once more stand up to make 3 prostrations along with all demonstration beings to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. Sit comfortably. Okay, let us now turn to page 51. So we see that in this life we have come across or met with this amazing teaching of Bodhicitta wisdom of emptiness. So what about the future lifetimes? This is a question. To make sure that this happens future lifetimes as well, we need to include them in the form of a very powerful prayer. And there are two things to keep in mind with respect to the future lives. Two things to keep in mind. This is so important. Number one is that we need to meet with this precious teaching. Meeting it is very important. If we don't meet, finish, we can't do anything. For example, like there are 8 billion human beings, and sometimes you go to different places. For example, I travel a lot, and where people have no clue about the Buddha. And in many cases, Buddha is like a decoration piece. Even that, they're very fortunate. Bodhicitta, far away. No Bodhicitta, never heard. Wisdom of emptiness, totally unheard of. That everything is taken for granted, intrinsically real. This is extremely unfortunate. So if we don't meet, it's not that they are unfortunate, we are very fortunate. No, it's a matter of time. We may as well in the future lifetimes, we may not meet with the Dharma. It's very dangerous. So we have to, in this life, while we have met with the Dharma, we make sure that we prepare for the future. That first thing is that we meet with the Dharma. This is very important. Number one. So therefore I said this oftentimes, that some of my friends, it's not just only some, many, they said that this is amazing. Wisdom, the treasure of the Nalanda is amazing. How come that I met this only late in my life? Why I did not come across this teaching while I was still young? So this was oftentimes the situation. So now out of 8 billion human beings, imagine majority, 90% of the people, they even do not meet with the Dharma. This is very scary. So we have to make sure that we meet with the Dharma in the future lifetimes. Number one. Number two, having met with the Dharma, again, that's not sufficient. Because look at the Ladakhis, the Tibetans, Chinese, Japanese, or Mongolians, and so forth. There are more than, they say, the 2-3 billions of the people in these areas. But how many of them, in which case, in the place, they met with the Dharma. But how many of them take seriously? Very less. Say, somebody, I don't remember who that was. Then there was one gentleman, and his friend, the Westerner, his friend was doing some research, and he was seeing the Ladakhis and Tibetans. They're very fortunate that they met with the Dharma. He himself embraced the Buddha's teachings. They met with Dharma, so they were so impressed. And one day, as a part of his research, he went to meet with the easy individual who were born as a Buddhist, and asked, what are the tribal children? What are those of nobody had? Out of 100, only 2-3 people have the correct answers. They don't have answers. He was shocked. How come you're born in a Buddhist family, but you don't have idea of the Buddhist teachings? So therefore, look, where you're met with the Dharma, but you don't take seriously. Again, this is the problem. This is the second problem. So now what we should be doing in this life, to make sure that in this next life, we meet with the Dharma, number one. Number two, we take it seriously. So how to make it happen? These two things. These are the wisdom. These are the indication of somebody who plans, who can see far away in time, that we don't regret. So how to make sure that we meet with the Dharma, number one. How to make sure that once we met with the Dharma, that we take it very seriously and flow with it seriously. How? For the first, meeting with the Dharma is to include this in the form of very powerful prayers, number one. So this will help us to meet with the Dhamma. Meanwhile, make sure that in this life, do the best. You try to create the Dhamma situation for others as much as possible. Then that is serve as the karmic cause for you to meet with the Dhamma in the future. Number one. Number two, once you meet with Dhamma, to take it very seriously. So how do you do that? So say, which of the 2 days you feel, which of two days is the more memorable? Very boring day versus the birthday time. Which birthday time is more memorable? Why? Because you find joy. So the event, when conjoined with the joy, next time you remember the event, the joy will come. Then this joy will make you just engage with it fully. That you become very serious. You find joy in this. So, therefore, say the first part which we are reading is to connect with the Dhamma, and the remaining verses taken out from Bodhicittavivaraṇa's text. This is for us to seriously engage in Dhamma in future lifetimes. So, connecting the joy with the Bodhicitta. So, Bodhicitta, this has so much of benefit. When you say benefit, there's joy coming, admiration coming. So that when you, in future lifetimes, when you hear about Bodhicitta, joy will be triggered. For example, like I shared this with you last time, that for this little boy, me as an 8 years old boy, and the teacher sang this song, very crude village song, and this little boy shedding tears. Why? Because this song was attached with the memories, beautiful memories of being with the mother. Attached to this song heard, all the memories retrieved. I gave the example of this. For example, I pulled this leaf, everything, the flower, the stems, everything, branch, everything comes alone. Likewise, in the next life, you hear the word bodhicitta, instantly joy will be retrieved. When you feel the joy in doing something, then this will make you to delve into this very forcefully and effectively. So the following verses are for the purpose. Okay, with this mind, let's recite the following verses together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true practice of bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life is borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of Buddha, and now one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions that I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the softening of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is the tree that shelters all beings wandering entitled on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually praise them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temple and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, darshan prayer. I dedicate the matter thus gathered first to realize the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, Bodhicitta perfect within the 2 stages. From our two collections, vast space that were amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time may have become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized blinded with ignorance. Okay, praise to Buddha, praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, chant. Abge tuje shaye reso cho shenge meto dege ponjo ba serge Rumbo tabo jebe ko shage gebo kela cha se do oh mone mone Mahamona Yeswaha Om Mone Mone Mahamona Yeswaha Tage tuje shaye reso cho shenge min bonjo mo serge bo tabo jebe ko shaye gebo kela cha se do oh mone mone Mahamona Yeswaha Om Mone Mone Mahamona Yeswaha Tage tuje shaye reso cho shenge meto Dege ponjo mo sege numbo tabo jebe ko shaye gebo kela cha se do oh mone mone Mahamona Yeswaha Om 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 Mone Mone Mahamona Om Muni Muni Mahamuna Yeswa. Okay, 3 persuasions together.